Hello, Chris here, and welcome to the final installment of the good, the bad, and the ugly updates from Atlassian Teams 24 in Vegas. Now, we have some great interviews from the brightest minds in the Atlassian ecosystem, giving you their most important summaries and takeaways from the keynotes in Atlassian's Vegas event. So, if you didn't make the cut here, thank you so much for interviewing with Martin. We'll be publishing some more interviews later, but the main feedback we've gotten so far is people want it short and snappy. This is as quick as we could do. If this isn't short enough for you, I'm afraid TikTok has melted your brain. There is no hope for you. Go play with Trello. We'll put some other useful links in the comments, so that hopefully will help you keep up to date. And we will publish another episode next month because now I need to get back to my day job. So over to you, Martin, with the final interviews from Teams 24 in Vegas. Thanks.
Was that we actually had highlights. So that it has been a tremendous event. It's been great keynotes and great announcements. So
100%.
It somehow feels like 5 or 10 years back for me this year here in Vegas. So what are the most important ones? Just to mention a few, of course, I got to talk about AI. I think to see virtual agents within the Atlassian platform in every corner, AI augmented features that will make our work much more productive. And I think that's what we are going to need in this world where fewer people will have to get more work done in the same short amount of time. We will need some help from IT, from AI. And my feeling is that with AI, this promise of making you more productive will actually come true, and it will be implemented well in the Atlassian platform. I'm pretty glad that Atlassian really has developed this AI vision further for the platform, and I think it's one of the best arguments to use Atlassian Cloud in the future, also for our data center clients out there, especially in Germany, that might be still a little bit reluctant. The benefits are getting more and more to move.
Profound. Chris Cooke coined that well. He said Atlassian's gonna. Last year it felt like La La Land, and
I heard that.
And now they're getting way more substantial, and I hear that in your summary as well, and I can only second that. It's great. You are like also a Microsoft partner,
Yeah.
and I don't see them or Google, where we are a partner, doing anything like that, like collecting all this cloud software content and then using AI to provide learning opportunities about the Blueberry project, as they had in the keynote, and agents that will help me alter that content or make sense of it or work with it. Does Atlassian have an angle that the others still have to learn, or am I just missing something?
Well, of course, it's a big race between the large software providers, and of course, we should not underestimate Microsoft. They are doing tremendous investments in AI. They have brought AI earlier to their products in comparison to other vendors. What we see, if we compare that a little bit, we see a lot of AI capabilities with Microsoft. They are not as well integrated as what Atlassian has now been promising us to be released
but it's also still
in the near
end of
future.
The year, right? Yeah.
So it's still a little way down the road, and I'm pretty sure Microsoft is going to release a lot of new stuff until then. So it is a race, but in the very end, who is winning is the end user, because life will get easier. So I think we will need the time anyhow. And it is an exciting time to be in, to see how such AI augmented tools are getting into our systems. And I'm looking forward to that, how the world, the business world and the daily work will have changed within the next, let's say, 12 to 24 months. And I think it will be changes that are much more profound than what we have seen in the last 5 years.
Will Atlassian Guard be one of the things that will help German customers to move to the cloud?
Well, I'm pretty sure that any investment in data protection and security will help. I've seen the announcement on Atlassian Guard. I think we will be talking with many clients about that, and I'm pretty sure that it will help.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, well, the new UI and also the unification of Jira Work Management and Jira Software now to be Jira again. In the end, I think Atlassian is on a path now to service really all users in the company.
Not only
so it's not the tech guys only, but also the business user.
But they didn't lose the tech guys. That's also good.
They didn't lose the tech guys. That is important. But the bigger market for us as partners and the bigger benefits in terms of the number of users that you can serve on the client side is with the business user. So there's a lot of potential there.
Yeah.
And it's now eventually we are getting to a point where the Atlassian software is actually really open to everybody in the company. And that is a great news for me.
So why do you bring up Rovo first? What's interesting you, Anand?
So I used to work as a project manager introducing enterprise search appliances to customers, acknowledging that knowledge is not only in Confluence, but in various different systems as well. So to bring that together in one search, I think is truly amazing.
Oh yeah.
The second thing is the way we work in future with Jira Service Management, with Confluence, with all the other tools, and now with the agents is completely different to what we know. I'm a bit afraid to talk to our customers and explain them what's new, because it will really change the way they...
Oh, people must go to the cloud now.
Yeah.
We have been working with Atlassian on those agents for Draw.io, for example. So I knew that was coming, but like now in this presentation when it all came together, it just changed my mind completely on how cool this is. I also love this search. Yeah.
I also had a different idea on what Atlassian should implement in terms of how, for example, as a Jira Service Management agent, how you work with the system. I never imagined that there's a Rovo agent who you can pull into the conversation, doing stuff for you, give you information, do something in external tools. So that is really interesting, really great to see.
There's also small things that I love that may pale over this Rovo announcement. They're now combining Jira into one product again, and they introduced something that they call lists.
Yeah.
Can you guess why I'm so excited about it?
No.
Okay, so then I have to tell you. So they said a lot of business people love Excel or tables because it's so simple, so easy, and it's very woven into how people work. And now they have created this lists element in Jira Cloud that will allow you and me to work with tables, but with the data in Jira.
Yep.
And there have been tables in Jira, but they have always been slow and cumbersome. And I did see a preview of that recently, and there's optimistic updates in the software. So they update the things instantly, and then they try saving in the background. And only if it doesn't work, you get a feedback. And this makes this software so snappy, and working with Jira very, very fast again. And that's something that, it's small. As a daily Jira user, it excites me. What do you have that has excited you about apart from Rovo?
The Jira announcement is like back to the roots.
Yeah, you mean like combining it all in one? Yeah,
I like that. I like
absolutely
that.
Amazing.
Because telling customers the difference between work management and then
when they did
that, and then switching to Jira software, because it is actually even more complex than they thought of, and now combining everything into one view. And I think there's a new side navigation as well. There's a new Jira UI.
Yeah. Oh, it was just a side note, right? Yeah, they haven't
mentioned it in one sentence. Yeah. So you have now everything. You can start it to your own need. Where your projects are, your goals, your task list.
So I really loved the Loom announcement, specifically around recording the Loom video and then just with a few clicks publishing a Confluence page with like a full described content and everything. So you basically just
kind of like an augmented thing now, right?
Exactly. You just kind of like record maybe some kind of like workflow or like how the app works, and then you just hit the go to Confluence, and then it will automatically create the page. You just do the editing. So you don't have that like a writer block. There is something you can start with, and then you just edit. And the same for the bug recordings. So I was a QA in the past, and I needed to write so many bug reports, and it's very exciting for a QA to find
the bug report didn't get enough applause, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, it's amazing. And like it has a great structure, steps on how to reproduce and what's the problem. And video recording is so important for the bug reports too. So I think this is really great.
You seem to be a video person as well. For some people, video comes kind of natural. They're not afraid in front of a camera, and they can express themselves and are not shy. And then a lot of work comes after recording the video.
Yes.
So you have to write all this down, explain yourself, what are we doing with the video now. And if AI can help, even if it's not perfect, that would help me a lot to kind of like get started in this direction. because and that's what I sense with you as well. That
Yeah, and I think also like creating videos in general type of contents. I think what was interesting too was the whiteboards integration with AI, where basically whiteboards would scan through your content that you have in a Confluence, and then it can create like a brainstorm the ideas for you, and then also group those ideas and synthesize, and then you can just like vote with your team on what you should do next. So that's also very interesting, and I think that's gonna save that like initial part of the brainstorming, and then again you add your own ideas on top. So it was also nice.
Have you figured out whether we can actually use that already, or is it just like in beta and will take like 5 hours?
Well, I'm not sure. I need to try.
Yeah, okay.
I haven't tried it because we're so busy in a conference.
In 2009, when we started as an Atlassian partner,
Yeah.
during the conference in the evenings, I was skipping the parties, trying out these things, because back then they wouldn't show anything, they wouldn't be ready. It was always download now, it's available in the new version.
Yeah.
And so I did. I got the new version installed.
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna all come back and then try it out. I know that there was also an URL that I didn't even access yet, which was Jira.com, which was basically to promote the joining of a Jira software and Jira work management into the one Jira, which is a great name. I think everyone uses it already, right? And works that. So there was a Jira.com website, definitely go check it out. I'm going to do it actually after this video because I'm curious.
What else did you take from the keynote?
So I got very excited, overly excited about Scott announcing the free training.
Yeah.
I really loved that, you know, he was doing the meme, like opera meme on the podium, like free training for everyone.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was great. As well, I think that's going to drive more people to the university platform, and it's going to help kind of educate the customers and the potential users. Because yeah, free learning is really important when you need to learn the basics. It might be better to like maybe start on the Atlassian University, and then maybe if you need like some specific use cases or you want a different point of view on the same thing, then you can explore YouTube and Atlassian creators that are creating so many content around Jira and Atlassian ecosystem products.
One, incredibly excited about the system of work. We've been talking about it internally for, leading up to this, and this whole idea of trying to really collapse what was it. Honestly felt like a little bit of a disjointed system into a let's layer down the foundations of how we work versus the tooling that we use. Really excited about that. Things like the teamwork graph, those elements that starts acknowledging that work is varying, it's different, but it needs to connect. I think that's where they're going in the right direction. Things like bringing together Jira, same time, Jira Work Management and Jira were on the same engine.
People tell me Atlassian screwed up, and now they fixed it. Not that marketing-wise.
Yeah, exactly. I remember I used to use Jira Work Management and Jira, and I would do reports that would come out of both of them, because at the end of the day, they really were kind of the same. They're again based on the same product. And now I think we finally brought it together, which is the right thing to do. If you ask me, that was always the right thing to do. I'm glad we made that choice. Now, to your point, we would go off and go after the base camps and these asanas and stuff like that by saying, we're going to have the separate product that does it. Well, why do we have to play exactly that same game? We don't have to play that let's play the game we want to play. And that is trying to help a company at all different functions. And that's what Jira does. And that's where it's funny. Even when it was Jira software, who talked about it as Jira software? We all talked about it as Jira. And this is now really going to honor what it really was back in the beginning, I feel.
I joked about this on LinkedIn. I'm going to get emotionally attached to all the little agents that they're coming out with for Robo. And so I think that's wonderful. I really enjoy how Atlassian's integrating AI into their work. I think the concept of being able to inflect tone, like when they said that agents can be funny or they can be professional, I thought that was really interesting, especially with the work I do with psychology, is what is the psychological aspect that had to go into creating AI that could have a personality? What does that look like? So from a scientific standpoint, I was very interested in it, and I thought it was really cool. And they made a lot of really cool, exciting announcements. I like the consolidation of Jira into just Jira with what I do and with psychology. Business and psychology always go hand in hand, whether people realize it or not. And I think that Atlassian, with everything they're doing with AI, and especially the way they're messaging about AI, they're playing that game really well, and they're walking that line very nicely between being
consciously so, right?
Yes. So I was thrilled with everything I heard at the keynote.
Can you pick a feature or something that stood out and you think will be appreciated by customers a lot?
Yeah, I mean, so someone who's not a technical person, the ability to write a sentence in English or your language of choice, I'm not sure if it's multilingual, and have it come out with a SQL or an SQL query is phenomenal. That is something that I know I've lost jobs over, is my inability to know any of the query languages where they're like, hey, you're really smart, but you can't write this complicated thing. And now I don't have to. So I loved that personally. For me, that was one of my favorite standouts.
That last year with Atlassian Intelligence, I was still on the fence. I was a little bit of an AI skeptic. I think it's getting more real, and I think it's getting more beneficial. I'm actually excited to see what Rovo looks like, because I think it's some actual real practical applications of completion of the promise that they were actually showing last year.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about the announcements that we saw this year at Atlassian Team 24 in Las Vegas. What was your highlights? Was it Rovo or?
Rovo's definitely a highlight. What we're starting to see from Atlassian is kind of, they're going to start looking less like a suite of products and more like a platform of solutions. The focus is going to be less on Jira, Bitbucket, Confluence, Trello, Loom. It's just going to be this kind of Atlassian solution for this, Atlassian solution for this. And that's going to be kind of an evolution of how they're going to present themselves to customers, to organizations.
So what about the specifics of their announcements? Like, do you think Atlassian Guard is that one long-awaited thing that all the enterprise customers need?
I think Atlassian Guard is a step closer to the realization of solving customer problems. Customers are definitely going to be worried about security, and Atlassian had these two technologies that were very complementary, right? And the best thing to do is just wrap that in one product to handle customer concerns on security. Access has always been proven. Beacon, which was that Point A product, was getting good reviews. It just didn't make sense to have those as two separate products, and it made more sense to package them together.
Thank you so much. I'm a fan of Atlassian Guard. Universal Search?
I like it. I think it's going to be fantastic because I don't have to worry about trying to remember where I had that. Was it a comment in a Jira issue? Was it something that I had in a Confluence? I can not worry about that, and it'll give me kind of that list of sources.
When they announced this yesterday, I thought, oh, I know how often I'm starting a search and then before you type in the search term, be sure to be in the right product.
Yes, exactly.
And it's adding a layer of complexity that, honestly speaking, I think a lot of users are just overwhelmed with. They will never think about that.
My personal highlight is Rovo Actions or Agents, right?
Yeah.
So the
find, learn, and act.
Yeah, but I mean, like, I really like for myself to be replaced with an AI.
Okay.
Right, so in that respect, I find a lot of these things that are happening with AI, they miss this action bit.
Most often, I tell my kids, artificial intelligence isn't very intelligent yet. Until it can replace us, I think a couple of things have to happen first.
That's correct. Yeah.
For TechTIme, those Rovo agents could be pretty cool. A certain skill could be, I was working on something, but I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
Could you just help me?
Yeah. I looked at it, and if Sharif Mansour is watching this episode, this is the message for you. The one thing that is missing right now is that we obviously can't call into Rovo, but also the one thing that's I would appreciate to have is some kind of webhooks about the fact that John here has been in the Google Doc using Rovo, and then the webhook to us. Yeah, so we can actually record time for John that he was in that Google Doc.
Awesome.
Right. So when I saw
that's what I love about founders like you. That you're so knee deep into those things that you already know what's not right now. So, Sharif.
Yeah.
Get in contact. Talk a little.
He did say it's going to happen.
I'm pretty sure.
He also said that he can't divulge any dates. Yeah.
Universal Search, is that making you excited or not?
It is, but probably for the wrong reasons. There have been several conversations with me by other companies, by other founders, who are trying to make like a universal search over Atlassian tools. So something external that would include Atlassian tools as well. And some of the things I kept telling them were like, well, be very aware of the fact that Atlassian can move very fast. And in the end, in this cool ecosystem, Atlassian is the Leviathan and we're just a tiny fish. You know, some of us are bigger, some of us are smaller, but in the end, when they, when they move, whole economies disappear.
Yeah.
And like literally, I had this conversation quite recently, and look what they've done. They've turned it all around. Now suddenly it's Atlassian searching everywhere else and bringing all of the search into Atlassian tools. That I found quite interesting. It excites me because it proved my prediction.
Do you like the small things like Jira lists? Did that stick with you, or? Yeah. That's gonna be. I love the cutting. That's. Yeah, we should definitely take that in.
Yeah.
You know what? We're gonna take it for everything. Whenever I need, I'll get it.
You mentioned that this is the good and bad and the ugly. For me, the ugliest thing is when Atlassian starts engaging in the name changes.
Okay.
You know,
You mean it's Beacon too?
well, I mean, like it's in the end, it's an admission of failure, right? Something that was designed and deemed good 3 or 4 years ago, suddenly they change it. But that
It would sell us as an iteration.
Yeah. No, I agree, and it's a good thing that they're iterating, and the same applies to everything they're doing with Jira now. You know, so first it went into 3 different Jiras, now it's 2 again. It's like,
On that end, I fully agree. It's just a step backwards, but a good one probably.
Yep.
You can say that on stage. Look,
Oh,
it's
yeah,
everything.
yeah.
Everything is
Yeah.
polished. Like
Yeah.
there wasn't a single moment in their keynote where I thought, oh, now they screwed up. Their presentation game is pretty advanced.
well, I think they practice well. They all go on stage and they talk about Rover stuff, and then they say, look, we've talked to our teams, we're using it already, and it saved us, right? And they say, oh, it saved us 120 hours.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, like, how do you know? How do you know it's 120 and not 135? And for us, it's quite interesting because in our case, with our app, you would actually know.
Yeah.
You would know exactly.
Well, you did buy a company recently. There was a time when it felt like Appfire would buy a company every other week, but that has dramatically slowed down, like halted, if you can say.
Well, I mean,
Is that a different strategy now?
I don't think so. I think they're going to continue to look at opportunities in the space, but we're doing a lot of building, so we'll wait and see. Our M&A team will continue to work. So,
Was there anything that you would want to tell people that may watch this video, either customers or maybe Atlassian Marketplace partners?
well, I mean, the best thing you can
I
take away
didn't give
from
them any time to prepare.
the best thing you can take away from team is to see the strength of the ecosystem. I think that's Atlassian has the most powerful, creative, unique ecosystem. Customers should tap into that through their ACE, through their partners. The partners should tap into it. That's the best advice I can give, is leverage this, because you see it here once a year, but it's still there when you go home.
And then one day you'll meet Simon here.
And then one day, if you're lucky, we'll run into each other, and the rest will be history.
Thanks.